Fields here along with Rogan Smith. And, this summer is taking a lot out of us. It's too hot.
I like it hot.
Yeah, of course you do.
And
the only reason she likes it hot, Kendrick, is because I said it's hot. If I'd said, it's too cold, she'd say, I like it
I've consistently said that I'm born in the hottest month of the year. I love the heat. I don't like it cold. Kendrick knows that. I always say how my office is always freezing. Don't I say that, Kendrick? Thank you very much. So anybody just being contrarian.
You feel good now?
I am.
Yeah.
I feel validated.
Yeah.
Vindicated. You hear that?
You had what is that? A latte or whatever?
This is a frappuccino.
Mhm. It causes your bowels to move?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Just check.
So if I have to dip out, you have to hold it down.
Yeah, when we dip out, we lock it down.
While I put it down.
Anyway, so it's hot, it's muggy, and I think it's starting to come back. Am I correct?
Yeah.
This thing here.
I feel something.
Yeah. Because this ain't no place to be. It ain't no time to be in no locked up building with no window.
But it's fresh in here, though. It smells nice.
You're only saying that. I know why you're saying it.
Why am I saying that?
You know why you're saying it.
No,
I can't say why you're saying it.
I'm simply saying it's fresh and it's nice. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I could deal with that.
As opposed to what?
It could be funky.
Okay.
And it's not.
Has it been funky in the past? Is that what you're saying?
Kendrick always keeps in here very clean.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Kendrick always keeps it clean.
Yeah. You focus on Kendrick a lot, but that's okay.
I'm simply.
Am I funky?
Am I funky?
No, but someone got to be funky.
What is this busting in here?
Yeah. Can the guests have a seat in the green room?
You can take this chair if you want. Yeah.
She thinks because she does a couple of guest appearances, she could just come in.
She could just bust you.
No, you're not in the guest appearance thing. Okay.
Should I slide on one of these chairs? I think I'm going to slide her a chair. Hold on one second. Hold on.
She believes that. I've been on the show, so I could just maneuver in like that. You know what I mean, Kendrick? No, you can't.
It don't work like that.
No. Mm-hmm. Couple of things. You're talking about the jury. What else was I talking about? It was jury, and it was something else that I said I was going to talk. Oh, the lottery. The lottery. So Kendrick informs us. Well, that's good to know. It's not just me. Kendrick informs us that the Powerball was won by one person, $700 and something million. Forget about the something. It doesn't matter.
A lot of money.
$700 million. It gives me a headache. By the way, before I forget, let me talk to you about tryptophobia. Have I talked to you about that with the holes?
No.
Okay, I want to talk to you about that as well. I'm going to let Kendrick pull it up. It makes me sick.
Tryptophobia?
Yeah.
Never heard of it.
So $700 million. Okay? Boy. I think if Kendrick or you, doesn't matter, told me, someone who's not related, who's not going to share with me, that they had a ticket for $700 million.
I'd pay off your mortgage. You wouldn't give me any of your money.
All right, well then in that case you just save yourself, okay?
I would do that.
Kendrick, but I want more than that.
You're being greedy. If I'm giving you financial freedom, you should be.
Excuse me, that ain't financial freedom.
Okay, now it's revoked.
No, time out. No, it's not revoked.
Yes, it's revoked.
I was about to give you an offer, and now I'm revoking that.
Okay, what's the offer?
Okay, I was going to give you. If I won, I was going to give you $1 million. But no, you only want to pay off my mortgage. So that's fine.
It depends on how much I win.
I'm revoking yours.
It depends on how much I win. What if I only win
We're talking about $700 million.
Okay.
We're not talking about what it's supposed to be. It's supposed you win $1 million.
You weren't even going to give me anything. You only changed the game plan because I said I would pay your mortgage off.
No, I said if we are going to share, it's different. And I've already made pacts with certain people, that people who I'm close with, who I work with, not 7,500 people at the ladders. Forget them.
I was going to say, everybody coming up.
They're out. Okay? Okay? But the people in here, I could give Kendrick a $500,000 or $1 million. I give him $1 million. I can see you no more.
Okay. How much I get?
You get $1 million. The two of y'all get $1 million each.
I want $2 million.
No. Now that's revoked. He gets now $1.5 million to take half of your $500,000 million because you've been greedy. So the thing is, I believe though that if there was no sharing arrangement, like if I didn't think you were going to give me some, I think I might have to kill you to get that ticket. If you had a $700 million ticket, that's.
I signed my ticket. Well, I mean, yeah.
I think that's murder action. You know.
No,
Let me take that. And I'll show up. I got the ticket.
You can murder me. They can find out you did it, and then you could be right there doing the shuffle.
Sweetie, they're not going to find out. I watch a lot of forensic
you
files.
You dipping my body in the acid or something, eh?
In that barrel?
The barrel with acid. So you've given this some consideration.
Oh, I thought about it. You know, how to make someone disappear.
A deviant mind. But...
No, but we've all thought that. Yes,
never,
you have.
Never.
You're lying.
I've thought about winning, but not killing somebody for that ticket.
You have, and the main thing...
No, I have not.
Not only have you thought about killing them, you thought about how to get away with it. That's the main thing. See, killing is the easy part. Getting away with it is the hard part. Yeah, you watch Perry Mason. So that's it. So 700 million, I hate that person. They're not a friend of mine.
Boy.
But if I had it planned last night, I was going to give something to each of my family members. I have a very small family. And I would have maybe give you all something if you act right. Now, what I'm concerned about is...
Maybe give us something if you act right.
Now, here's my...
I know I didn't cut because my mouth too hard.
Because you don't act right, no. Here's the problem I have is Starbucks would have made a lot of money because I know people would have found out where I live and that line would have been backed by sandals because they only want bag and then they have no shame. They have proposals.
For what things they want to do?
Listen, I want to build some. I want to do a straw bag factory. I always wanted to do a straw bag factory. Okay? They don't want to do no factory, you know.
You can be the benefactor.
They don't want to do no factory. They only want that you give them a check. So the best thing to do is just move. Just go.
Where you going?
Just go away.
Like not where?
Not here.
Europe?
No.
Russia.
Here's where I'm moving.
China.
Not here. That's where I'm going.
Philippines.
It doesn't matter.
I can see you there.
No, I'm not good. I'm not going to places with short people. No. Because I can start out.
Yeah.
Say, have you seen Fields? Is that the tall black man? Oh, he's over there. No, I'm not going there.
Well, go to Zambia.
No, because I wear clothes. I'm not going there. So what I'm saying is I'm going to just go somewhere where I can blend, somewhere like, you know.
Acklands. You say you want blend. Acklands.
I'm going to go somewhere like
was that Colonel
Atlanta or somewhere where, you know, you can mix. No one know you. You put on a shirt, you know, boom. Anyway, enough fantasizing about that. You're talking about jury duty.
I said I have a colleague who stopped me today or yesterday and said she really wanted us to have this conversation because she wants to know why it seems that only people who are employed get picked for jury duty. And she felt, and I agreed with her to for the most part, individuals who aren't employed should probably be the first. They should be the first people who are approached. And, you know, obviously the courts could coordinate with NIB to determine who's not working right now. And they could benefit from that because they don't have anything else to do.
Could they also coordinate with Jeff?
Jeff
Lloyd.
For what? Education? For what?
The average.
My dear, people employed and they and
I don't even want the criteria to be employment.
I do.
Employment. I want the criteria to be reading. Okay.
You don't gotta read. You should be able to listen and have some good listening skills.
Have you been on a jury?
Never.
Okay.
And I
Let me tell you what's scary. Let me tell you what's scary. When you are on the jury and you're in the court system and you are so panicked after being on the jury that you leave and you write a memo to yourself what conditions you would be in if you were ever arrested for anything. Because when Skillo says, well, he must be guilty, because how he get there? See, that is not the criteria.
Yeah, but that doesn't I bet that person probably has a job, too.
That's why I say reading. I'm going with reading. I didn't want the job thing. I'm not agreeing with the person.
Plenty of people unemployed. But they're very skilled and very intelligent.
I am not. That's whoever your colleague was who had that criteria.
I agree with that criteria.
I'm in a different criteria. I'm in the reading criteria. The next person say, well, listen, I get robbed once, so this one can pay.
Have you ever heard that?
No. What did I just tell her? I was on the jury when someone said that.
You said someone said, well, he must have done it because he was there. Why he was there?
That's one.
Yeah. Okay.
That's one person on the. There's 12 people. Huh?
Oh, you mean to do different jurors?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I had to go to the judge. I had to report it.
Mm-hmm. What did the second person say? Say it again.
Well, if he doesn't get no.
No, that was the first one.
Well, listen, I get robbed, so this one can pay.
Someone said that.
Yes. Mm-hmm. See, I don't invent quotes in my mind.
Yeah, you do.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
The guy said to me.
The
guy said to me, not to me, to the jurors, this one can pay.
Yeah, but then you have individuals like yourself
and then
on that jury who are going to say, okay, this is wrong, and then they're going to report it.
No, that's what I did.
Yes, I'm saying so that happens in a lot of scenarios.
But I think there are a lot of people who share the this one can pay mode.
Anyway,
because when I said you can't say that, there was a little mini revolt
against you.
Uh-huh.
What they say? Hold on, now I need to hear this. What they say to you?
So I said, no, you can't do that. You have to look at this case. Where are you coming from? You don't look at that fella. He looked like a criminal. That's another criteria.
Some people do, you know.
That's not the criteria.
I know it's not the criteria. I'm just saying, but some people do look like criminals.
Yeah, but you can't say that loud.
Yeah, you can.
No, but like I say, they thought it was funny. Who you think you is?
Anyway.
What time is lunch?
Anyway, see, that's my point is, get people who ain't employed. Let that be the first set of people you approach, and get them out of the way, and then you can go on to other people. Anyway,
like I say, you listen. Let me tell you something.
You have a lot of people who have jobs.
I personally I can help your friend. Who was it? It wasn't Chiquita.
No.
I'm blaming you for everything.
La Crista.
If it's up to me, if it was up to me, is it like the Count of La Crista? Listen to me. If it was me, give me the injection. Okay. Give me the injection. I don't want to be tried by any jury. Period. Yeah. No. Look at him. Because he think he have college education. Yeah. Put your ass in jail. That's the kind of attitude.
Anyway,
once you hear someone say putty, once you hear that putty, that's it.
Putty. Anyway, I hear your point about what the criteria should be, but all I'm saying is, at the end of the day, you can take the injection. At the end of the day, I don't want to have to do jury duty just yet. Get somebody who ain't employed. They ain't got nothing to do.
Yeah. All right, we'll be back. We have some guests, 3 guests coming up, and then we'll have Mr. Gibson.
Yes. Yeah. Adrian Gibson is our guest. All right.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Ed Fields here along with Rogan Smith. A couple of things before we get started. Sorry for the heat. It's they're working on the air conditioning.
I can feel it starting to come through now, actually.
Yeah. Secondly, to Miss Tashina, what her name is again?
Blair.
Robinson Blair. Just because you have had some guest co-host, some guest co-hosting does not entitle you to enter the studio without permission. Okay, that's number one.
Without what?
Without permission.
Oh, okay.
Okay, you carry your backside into the green room like every other guest. Okay.
I see her was saying they're on air.
Excuse me. Thank you very much. Secondly, I'm happy to meet Sierra, your daughter, lovely lady.
Yes.
Who you have apparently over the years, I thought it was only one time, but has been stealing from. She has told me when I told her that you take her money that she earned or someone gave her, like for birthday presents and stuff. You take it and you decide how it's going to be spent. I thought it was on one occasion. She told me that has happened several times.
Yes.
So you're a repeat offender.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
don't like the attitude. I might as well be honest with you right now. She can't be on no jury. Huh?
Oh, you want on your jury?
I don't like nobody. What?
Yeah, anyway, Attitude City.
Yeah. So, Sierra, how are you?
I'm doing good.
Yeah.
Pull the mic a little closer, babe.
Yeah. Very good. Now, do you go by Blair Robinson as well?
No, only Blair.
Okay, good. Because I don't want you're starting off good.
Because I go by
Pardon?
Blair Robinson.
Yeah, why would you?
But I'm not talking to you. No, but see, here's the problem. I'm speaking to Sierra.
Okay.
So, Sierra, I understand that you've written a book. Is that correct?
Yes, with my mother.
So it must have been a chore. What is the name of the book, if I might ask?
Roman and his mean family.
Excuse me?
Roman and his mean family.
His main?
Mean.
Well, see, mom is mean.
It's about me, right? So it means, right?
Well, that's understand. Now it connects.
The dots.
So Roman and his mean family.
Yes.
Okay. And if I might ask, what inspired you to write a book? Because, first of all, how old are you?
I'm 13.
Oh, I see. You should go like on one of the Bahamas Got Talent type show. That's the kind of attitude you got. But what inspired you? Yeah. What inspired you to write this book?
Well, I have a little brother. He's 1 year old. His name is Roman, and every time he doesn't get his way, he likes to call us mean.
Okay. That just tipped it off. I'm going to write a book about that.
Okay, it's actually going to be a series.
Well, in that case, there would be I think a lot of people are going to be writing books. So anyway, and how long did it take you to write this book?
About 2 months.
Oh, yeah? Okay. And I'm sure your mother was a drag on the process, but how did she assist?
Yeah, what role does she play in this book?
My mother.
And don't lie for her.
She was a captain, like she was steering the ship and everything. But she did tell me if I did not pull my weight, my name was off of the book.
Oh, see, that's again. It shows the meanness that she has. Rather than encouraging you, she's threatening you. That's how she is. She does it to me. She did it to me for many, many years.
How long did it take for you to write the book?
About 2 months.
Well, where's the book?
Well, no, it's from start to finish. And getting Shadi on board with the illustration. The whole process was 2 months. So
and Shadi is Rashad.
Shadi is Rashad.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Sheeny. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what you call me.
How did you get involved, Rashad?
Me, I got involved when I touched back down from the States. Tashina hit me up like the second day, and I think she was having like trouble with the previous illustrator and time constraints and not meeting the deadlines and so
they were slack. That's what you mean.
Not so many words, but and so she hit me up and she was like, Shadi, hey, I really in a bind. I need to get this project off the ground and could you do it for me? And I was like, man, send it to me. Let me read it and let me see what it's about. And so I proofread and I went through and I was like, wow, this is exciting. So I saw the book in my mind already finished. You
saw the
just
story
by reading it. I already saw it illustrated. I already saw it. And so I was like, you know what, Tashina, you straight. I got you. And she just, Tashina, hi, I'm Rashad, you sure? And I say, Tashina, calm down, And I say, I got you. Just give me a minute and I can hit you up in 2 days. And I did. And we just worked on like getting the likeness and the caricatures together of them. And once we got that, we was rolling. We were rolling.
Do you have the book yet?
Quickly. It's available on Amazon Kindle and in paperback.
So did you bring me a copy?
No,
you have to purchase.
Literally
you could download
published the paperback and you could download the book on Kindle. So
$2.99. $2.99.
There's a cost.
I'm not into no Kindle.
We literally just uploaded the paperback version like recently because the process is a bit tedious.
Excuse me, Sierra, let me say something to you. When you come to a show where you promote your book, okay? When you come to a show where you promote your book, you bring a book, or at the very minimum, you bring a Kindle to show the book.
It's like $100.
You know what around here got no Kindle?
I have a Kindle.
Well, I ain't got no book. So because I would have liked to read excerpts from the book.
You have
now.
On Kindle, you can do a look inside. You knew I was coming on the show. You should have already.
He didn't do any homework.
No homework.
I knew that you were coming on the show, and I assumed you'd have a book like every other human being who writes a book out.
We literally just uploaded the paperback, and so even if I tried to ship it in time, we wouldn't have reached.
I see.
It's an e-book in any event.
Anyway, it's going to be so. If you see, do you didn't even bring a Kindle.
You don't need
you can't even read it. You can't read excerpts from the book.
You could go on your phone and download it. But basically,
did you download
I have a
the
Kindle
book?
and I purchased the book.
Well, why don't you read it? Do you have any excerpts?
I don't have I'd have to stop recording.
You people are extremely
I have to stop recording.
Okay.
It's really good
to
see it on this. No, it's really good. No, but you said it's going to be a series. So how many more books?
The second book in the series that Sierra started was Roman and the Pink Mingo. So it's basically about Roman and our family and having experiences, uniquely Bahamian experiences. So that's what it's about.
You know what I'm concerned about? I'm concerned about Roman. I don't think he's going. I don't think Roman has consented to this.
No, not at all.
Okay, he's one, right?
Protecting his rights.
Yeah, I don't think Roman as an agent. I think he's being.
His dad is his agent.
I think he's being taken exploited is the word I use.
By the Bahamian Christian.
And I don't know if he's going to.
Momager extraordinaire.
You're taking his child. You're exploiting his innocence, and I'm sure there's no annuity set aside for the royalties for him.
No.
Okay.
It's called living expenses.
Yeah, you see? That's go back to the thieving, the stealing again.
You want the third one in the series to be Roman conquers Atlantis. How about that?
Yeah. How about Roman puts his mother in jail? How about that?
Lawsuit.
Who is this book geared towards?
But it's geared towards anyone 6 and under, like so first graders and under. So children who are beginning to read and children who like reading and like their parents reading to them.
So it's like a Dr. Seuss type.
No, it's really a real storybook. So some of the instances when he's calling us mean, we build up from rubbing soap in his eyes, about to rub soap in his eyes, and his mom stopping him, to him about to chase a puppy into the road. And he's saying,
for a second, I thought she meant
so
she was rubbing his soap in his eyes. We got to get you up there. Yeah, man.
Yeah. Stay away from the stove. Stay away from running in the road. Stay away. And it's like a little lesson. So it's a real
instructional type.
Yeah. So it's basically saying that your parents, they're trying to protect you and not punish you when you're telling you to do things that you want to do.
Sierra, are you pleased with the book?
I'm very pleased with the book.
You're very mature. People say that all the time, hey? Yes, of course. Where do you go to school?
Kingsway Academy. I'm starting Kingsway Academy in grade 9 this year.
Okay. And what's your aspiration in life? What do you wish to do?
I'm thinking about becoming a marine biologist, but I also like to cook too.
Well, you could cook some of the fish you killed.
There you go.
But no, that's good. I mean, I have a daughter who is also very interested in that field as well. In fact, she does scuba diving and it scares the heck out of me. She likes to dive with the sharks and stuff. You find that kind of stuff thrilling?
I snorkeled with the sharks several times.
I see, and you still let me see. You still have all your fingers, everything. Okay, good. All right, good. Well, listen, thank you for coming on. Where can tell people where they can get this literary masterpiece.
So if they go onto Amazon Kindle, they can find it online there.
Because they certainly
something
can't
that you
get a book.
refuse to do.
I'm definitely not doing
the
it.
paperback is available. So the Amazon Kindle, they can get it for $2.99, and the paperback is $8.08.
Give them the name again.
And if they have Roman and his mean family, and if they have any graphic artist project, Rashad really was awesome.
Okay, we don't do that.
Yes,
Rashad, let me ask you a question. Rashad,
Go ahead, man.
So Rashad, let me ask you a question. So you could draw then?
I think so.
Okay, so this is drawing, painting, sketch. What kind of illustration was it?
So I'm an illustrator in the sense that I could craft the book, a visual storyteller. So going from rough sketches to tight drawings to inking to coloring it, whether digital or traditional in watercolor.
Okay.
So I pretty much do it all. Okay. And I do caricatures and illustrations.
Are you in the College of Mahon University or something?
No, I actually just came back from Canada.
I mean, how old are you? 15? I mean, it's like...
I got youthful family. I got youthful genes, but I'm 28 actually.
Jeez,
and
fellas look young.
And just all those, just keep doing your dreams, man. If you want to find me, definitely you can check me out on Facebook, Rashad Cash Illustrations, and as well as I will be starting up in Malia, doing a venue, selling caricatures as well as illustrations and custom clay models. On the 1st of September. And I actually, while I had a little time, I did a little rough sketch of you before I came.
Of me?
I didn't finish it. So I'm going to have to take it back and finish it. But I hold
on.
It better look good.
Patty, I hope this is a good
no, it ain't all.
that in there?
It's just a little, that's in there, Kermit Frog.
That's organic. That's
just a little rough one. It was like a couple minutes.
Okay, yeah.
So I didn't get a chance to really do nothing.
And 20 years ago?
Yeah. Let me see.
I give him the deal. I give the Sheena. Make him look even better.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah. I can see my smile in there.
Yeah.
That smile. Well, thank you very much, Shadi.
20 years.
Because that's how we roll now.
Let me ask you something before you go.
20 pounds lighter.
How much photoshopping went into Shadi's caricature?
That's right.
Well,
those hips were much slimmer.
That's under my hidden fee. You don't need Botox in that.
Thank you so much for having
Just more
us.
pencil.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sierra. It was very nice meeting you.
It was nice meeting you too.
Perhaps, maybe one day you can come and be a co-host.
Yeah, there you go.
Because I think you have a much better attitude than your mother.
I manage. Hands on.
Yeah, you manage. The question is, do I manage? Anyway, all right. We'll see you. Thanks, God, and good luck on your book, and sell lots of books.
Thank you.
All right. Call Jeff Lloyd. right?
Get administrative education, right?
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Shadi. And
man.
and I'll wait to get the finished product.
Yeah,
That's, okay.
most definitely, man.
Right.
Most definitely.
Tashina, see you.
When you get the finished product, you hanging it up in the office or you putting it?
I can put it somewhere special. When
I get
and-
the
and-
bathroom.
That is a special place. All right, we'll be right back with Adrian Gibson, who is I think he's the chairman of the Water and Sewage Corporation. So we'll be right back. Kind of a segue for the bathroom action. We'll be right back. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Ed Fields here along with Rogan Smith. That was cool. It was very nice meeting
That was
Sierra.
nice. Yeah, she's
It's
a sweetie
amazing
pie.
how, the children can be so sweet.
And
That's all I'll
articulate.
say.
I'm happy we're just highlighting a young person who's doing something positive. We always criticize these young kids.
Yeah, no, she's going to be a star.
Yeah, she is.
I don't know how she managed because, of course, but I'm only kidding. Tashina, I love
No,
her.
Tashina's doing a great job.
It's funny because all of y'all from our guests, all of y'all from that generation of reporters. Yeah.
Ain't that
I'm
something?
kind of am I a senior journalist person to y'all? Do y'all see me as that?
No.
Like senior? You know what I mean, Adrian?
I think.
I shaking my head right now.
Do you realize that I was a reporter? It was 1981.
Eugenia.
1981?
81, 82, 83.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
So we have with us Adrian Gibson, and sorry again for the heat, Adrian. We
Yeah.
have AC problems.
I thought it was coming through.
We're almost like the government, because in the summer the government buildings don't have no AC.
They start to malfunction.
They pipe out in the Christmas, but they don't pipe out during the summer. So next thing you know, me, Kendrick, and Rogan are going to probably have a sick out.
We have our placards
We need to
downstairs.
work half day.
All we need is some mold.
Now it's
Yeah.
maybe a union.
Yeah,
to go.
And some
yeah,
mold
three.
to make it complete.
Some mold. So anyway, Rogan, I know has some interesting questions for you, but I think the last big thing that we heard about Adrian Gibson is when, of course, Mr. Gibson made a certain commentary post the cabinet selection. You was mad, eh?
I wouldn't say I was mad.
You were disappointed.
Yeah, that my people had, expressed some things to me, and understandably, we're all human beings.
Yeah. I wouldn't even listen. If it were me, I would tell you right off the top. But even everyone has ambition. You don't go into the game with any kind of I just want to be over there in the corner. Everyone has ambitions.
Yeah.
So you catch you at the right moment, you say the wrong thing or whatever the deal is. Because
do you think it was blown out of proportion?
I think it was totally blown out of proportion. In fact, there was one sector of the media that continued the life of it. I was asked basically how I felt.
And you told
in a nutshell. And I said, well, the people of Long Island have communicated their disappointment to me.
And those were your exact words.
Those are my exact words. And then I guess there was some persistence, and it was, I said, of course, naturally, as a human being, I too, if they felt this way, I too would feel that way. I mean, they have their expectations. You had a tough race, etc. But but I also paid deference to the Prime Minister in saying that the Prime Minister has the constitutional right and prerogative to decide who sits in that place. And whilst myself and my constituents may have wanted us to be around that table, if the Prime Minister didn't make that choice at that time,
that's his prerogative.
That's his prerogative. And I didn't understand. I even said at one point, and Rogues can speak to this as well, 'cause I'm sure you read it. I said, look, man, I said...
You're just jealous because you don't know nickname.
I said, we are prepared to serve. Given that, we're prepared to serve from where we are until, or you never know what could happen.
Exactly.
You never know what the future holds.
Yeah.
And so I didn't see a reason why it was taken
two
that
things.
way.
Very few people, you, Jeff, Obi Wolfscom, Akeisha Parker, Heiswell Forbes, I'm just naming Mike Smith. These are people all who have been in politics, who were in media.
Oh, yes.
Now get to see the other side.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Ain't that something?
Yeah. See, and I've seen it. I mean, not in a political role, but I've seen it in my job. Okay. Because you have to understand. You know who's hated worse than Donald Trump in the Congress? The media.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why Donald
you're
Trump manages to actually survive because people he can blame the media who people detest more. Listen, they've got a job, they got their filler, they got to fill it in, and it's I saw a headline today that I had to react to. You probably see tomorrow, and the headline really didn't indicate what was in the story. It's just a thing.
Yeah, I know about that. I know.
Now he's on
what is amazing is this, Ed. When you are in media, even in media, if certain headlines come out, you yourself would know that. Hold on, that doesn't match the story.
That's true.
Yeah.
But when you are actually the person,
the victim,
I would even use the word victim.
The subject.
When you are the subject of a story, and the headline may mislead. Or a story could be twisted. Or if you look at social media, I always tell people, never really follow what is on social media. Social media can really take it out of context, and you don't know the agenda of the persons who might be.
Or you don't even know who the person is, because it could be anonymous.
Exactly. And so, in this case, when that arose, I understood the feelings of my constituents, and they walk up. Ed, you're talking about constant calls.
Yeah.
And they had their expectations.
Also, by the way, Long Island is used to having a cabinet minister for as long as I can remember.
Exactly. And then, you have your own ambition, and you have your own feelings towards, these things. But I felt that it was, taken out of context and kept alive for reasons that weren't really.
You talk about ambition, right, Rogan? I observe. I like to watch people, and I try to guess what's on their mind. Right after the election, I watched all of the candidates who had won, and I watched them as they watched other people, and I could see going on their head. This is prior to the cabinet selection. I wonder if I can get picked. That's what I could see in their mind. I wonder if I can be.
Turning.
Yeah, they ain't out there jumping and laughing. Yeah. They want to. No, I wonder if I can get picked to be this. I wonder because I serious right now because that's human beings.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if asked about your constituents' feelings or whatever the case might be, or how something might be seen from the perspective of your constituents or yourself, it would be foolish for any politician, particularly a new politician, to come in as an MP and say, oh man, X, Y, and Z isn't happening now. Everything is hunky-dory. If they have communicated certain things to you. And so you almost have an obligation to speak the truth at your detriment.
Do you regret your statements?
No.
In hindsight, no?
I do not regret it if you look at it in its full context. Maybe the timing was certainly off. But in terms of saying that they were disappointed or naturally I was a human and being disappointed. But sometimes, Rogan, it teaches you something as well. Sometimes you just say no comment.
Yeah. Just walk it.
That's what you do.
It's because even no comment is another story.
No, but you know what? It's better to say no comment and walk away and let them craft their narrative versus you feed the fire.
You didn't practice that?
What is that? That's the wave, and you keep smiling.
And walking. Listen, you want to talk about no bad timing? It's like when that fella Scaramouche, when he on the phone and he's going off, that's bad timing. Your statement in real time, it's benign. It's benign. Yep. It's just a statement, it's a thing.
It is. But I think, like I said to Adrian, I had a good discussion. I said, taking his totality about what had happened with the F&M and with Dr. Minnis, that's what fed, the fire, so to speak. So that was the problem right there. But what's your relationship like with Dr. Minnis? Because, after your pronouncements, a lot of people said, well, this guy is an in-grade, he just got in, and he's already basically attacking Minnis. So, what's your relationship like with the leader now?
Well, personally, I feel like I have a good relationship with the Prime Minister. I don't know of any issues with him. Prior to being elected and actually entering the political fray, he and I had a very good relationship before that. I had occasion to contribute to speeches and graphical work and other things that he may have been doing. And I had always supported him in any contest for leadership, etc. So, I personally don't have any issues with the Prime Minister. I support his agenda, and hopefully he doesn't have any with me. He hasn't communicated any.
You would hope that someone who is in the position of the prime minister is not going to be thwarted by someone who's expressed ambition.
Yeah.
It's now if you say, well, listen, I'm looking to be leader next week. The next convention.
Say what?
At the next convention. I'll be running. At the next convention, I'll be offered for leadership.
Yeah.
He must be made leadership in Long Island. But that's a different. But if you don't have any ambition, who needs people without ambition?
Yeah, and Ed, the reality is, right? When you are on the islands, especially like far-flung family islands, southern islands, and then an island like Long Island, the expectations of your people come on to you as well. You embody that. You feel that. And then they know your background. They know everything about you. And so I felt that, there was, I had been qualified, but it was still the Prime Minister's decision. And so at the end of the day, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Listen, a more pertinent question, and I guess, I don't know if we've asked this question of the other MPs, because certainly they all fall into this category. And that is preparation for the role. Now, unlike a lot of other MPs, except for maybe Jeff, you would have had some, I want to use the word taint, but let's just say contact with the world of politics through your being a journalist. And I think, they kind of... Journalists, I think, operate by osmosis. Okay,
absolutely.
They know everything about everything because they report on everything about everything. So
people call them and tell them everything.
Yeah, so they obviously know about everything. But so I think that our system, and we haven't talked about this for a while, but our system of government, our system of governance, lends to a lack of understanding of what it is to be in the role when you're thrust in the role. We don't start with town council member and dog catcher and on up, right? You just boom, that's it. What were your expectations? What was your understanding about what this role would be, and how does that compare to what exactly exists, what you realize now?
Well, and I think you're absolutely right when you speak about journalism, but then also as a social studies teacher, and civics.
So you had a double whammy of knowing
double whammy. You understand that being a member of parliament requires you to do and be a lot of things to a lot of people. You are a lawmaker and legislator. You are the answer as far as your constituents are concerned, so all of their questions. And you are the person who lobbies for the betterment of your constituents and the lives in these constituencies, or the lives these persons living in these constituencies. When you actually become elected, you actually take on every problem. You feel the stresses of what it is to literally be called constantly and constantly receive messages, constantly get
you didn't
emails.
know that was going to happen?
You know it,
but not to this extent.
So you didn't
to
feel
that
it.
level.
You didn't feel it.
You didn't feel it.
Right.
They say he who feels it knows it, right? And when you get into the position, you then have an appreciation for the amount of attention to detail it requires, the actual hard work. Believe me, this is hard work. There's no cutoff point. This is no 9 to 5. You're in the middle of the night trying to watch a little movie, and you're getting calls. I'm telling you.
I remember one time I was in the presence of Sir Orville Turnquist, who at the time I think he was in charge of national security, DPM national security. I'm not sure. But anyway, the bottom line is a policeman called him on a Sunday morning breakfast to ask him, why is it that they have to work on Sunday and the commissioner of police don't? You see? And you're supposed to have that answer, Sunday morning, 8:30, That's the kind of thing you get, right?
You get, Ed, let me tell you, man, it's one of those things where you it's so broad. You talk from scholarships to jobs to
I know you get the job.
retention of jobs to... Ed, if you could think about it,
I know.
I can tell you.
Did you
and
do
the
what
campaign
Jeff did, though?
And the campaign trail is worse Jeff. I'll tell you about the campaign trail in a minute. What did Jeff do?
Jeff said he was a friend. He was on the show. He tell him he ain't got no funerals. He ain't got no wedding. He ain't doing this. He was a friend.
He ain't standing Godfather.
Well,
so did you clear that up? Did you clear that up?
I certainly won't be standing Godfather.
You're standing Godfather.
What about weddings and change funerals?
The island is so small, an island like Long Island.
You could go to those.
Many of the funerals you certainly would want to go to.
Okay.
Weddings, not so much.
Yeah.
But funerals for sure.
Yeah.
You know, you got a grieving family and you want to pay your respects.
You know a lot of these people, though, don't you?
Know these
There's
people.
a difference, though, Edward.
I can't make it.
You see,
He's
Ed,
from Long Island.
Ed, the thing is, right, unlike
He's
some
connected.
of these guys in Nassau, for example, when you leave Baintown, you could ride about Nassau freely, and you don't got to worry about nothing. But everywhere I go in Long Island is my constituent. Everywhere. If I go north, constituent. If I go south, constituent. So the whole island.
It's Long Island.
It's Long Island.
It's
so
not Denman's Key.
everybody living on Long Island
Yeah.
is my constituent.
Yeah.
So it's much different from if you're the MP for Fox Hill.
Yeah.
And
you can get out of Fox
and then
Hill.
you go into Seabreeze,
Once
man,
you-
you don't
you
got to worry
straight-
about there.
yeah,
Are
yeah.
people in there. You understand? So you have to take care of an entire island and all of these people.
Yeah.
And when you come to that island, every single person that you're running across whilst there,
They
that's
have
your
an issue.
constituent.
And they have an
That's your
issue.
Not everyone has
Well,
an
they have
issue.
concern, or they want you to do. I mean, many of it is just like things they want to ideas, like, you know, we should be doing this or we should be doing that.
Yeah.
How many just, hey, how you doing? Do you get?
You got a fair amount.
You do?
You got a fair amount.
And it just ends on how you doing, and then you go.
And a follow-up
Long
text.
Islanders are very industrious people, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Very
Yeah,
I've heard
independent
that.
as
You
well.
have a lucky,
Very
in my view,
independent.
you have a
Yeah.
lucky place to
Very
represent
independent.
because
Very independent minded.
I mean, jobs an issue in Long Island.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Man,
Jobs
what?
are an issue
I'm just
everywhere.
asking. Yeah.
Man, Ed, let me
'Cause I
tell
know
you,
the people are
the
industrious.
economy in Long Island is very stagnant. The two major concerns
Listen, we
in
gotta
Long
take a break.
Island.
We come right back and
Okay.
finish
Yeah,
that.
hold that thought.
Okay.
Heineken proudly presents its new 16-ounce can. For over 150 years, Heineken has made premium beer with an unmatched dedication to quality. This dedication made Heineken the world's most international premium beer, served in 192 countries each day. Now this world-class quality comes in the perfect quantity. Try 2 Heineken 16-ounce cans for $5.50 at any 700 Wines and Spirits location or your other favorite liquor store. Heineken reminds you to drink responsibly.
There are 3 reasons why you should choose Roman meal bread. It's made fresh every day because of its whole grain content, which is a foundation for healthy eating, and it's available everywhere. Roman meal bread is proudly made and distributed by Purity Bakery Limited. Pick up a loaf today.
Wendy's 100% premium codfish is the real deal. Tender, delicious, and flaky. Each fillet is hand-cut and lightly coated with Wendy's crispy panko breading and served with a creamy signature dill tartar sauce for an extra splash of flavor. Wendy's premium fish sandwich and handy fish wrap will have your taste buds hooked, line, and sinker. Reel in your appetite and make it a combo with natural cut fries sprinkled with sea salt and a refreshing soda. And if you're craving a light bite or a late night snack, grab a handy fish go wrap. Enjoy a warm tortilla wrap with Wendy's delicious crispy codfish, fresh lettuce, tartar sauce, and sprinkled with cheddar cheese. Fish lovers, rejoice! Head to your neighborhood Wendy's for the best catch of the season. Wendy's 100% cod premium sandwich and wrap. Now that's a real keeper.
If you want news details, you want to read the Tribune newspaper. It's the best. But if you need insurance coverage, any kind, you need to call Insurance Management. They're the best also. And with offices in Nassau, Freeport, Albuquerque, Luther, and Exuma, Insurance Management is your most convenient option also. News details, Tribune. Insurance coverage, Insurance Management. Nobody does it better.
It's Ed Fields Live, sponsored by KFC, Burger King, Superwash, Roman Meal Bread, and Rev TV.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Ed Fields here, along with the MP for Long Island and the chairman of the Water and Sewage Corporation, Mr. Adrian Gibson. When you think of Long Island, when I think of Long Island, I guess I don't think of an island that is economically challenged, only in this sense that Long Island is known for its industriousness. You have tons of people who have come from Long Island, families who have come to Long Island, from Long Island to New Providence, who have done amazingly well, and they reinvest to some extent in Long Island. And you think of Long Islanders as fishermen, as farmers. I suppose I think of them in the same kind of context as I would think of people, say, from Spanish Wells, which is not an economically challenged place. But you're saying it's a little different in Long Island.
We have an industrious, hard-working, independent-minded set of people in Long Island, but we have our socio-economic challenges. The two major concerns in Long Island right now is the provision of water and an airport. Long Island is economically stagnant
because of it.
Because of the lack of that new money, because of the lack of the water.
And they've always wanted that infrastructure.
Yes. We lack infrastructure, and so for the most part, people are leaving Long Island.
Right.
Investors are shying away from coming to Long Island because we don't have that airport. You know, the airport equals new money, economic boost.
That's the one thing I've always heard. They need an international airport.
Oh, yes. The spin-off from that, can you imagine like 2 planes coming in there with 120 people each? You know, the spin-off is crazy. You're talking about new construction, restaurants, taxis.
What does it take to do that?
It takes the government budgeting the money and moving forward on it. In the case of water, there's some plans on the drawing board to get the water mains extended in Long Island, and really and truly we want to push that as hard and as much as possible because it's overdue. Long Island is considered, if you look at size and you look at the people that come from Long Island, it must be considered a major island that's been depleted because of its hardship.
I'm just throwing this out there because I know a lot of the Long Island boys. Is a public-private partnership airport viable in terms of the return that people could get? Because I think there are people who, we're not talking about building an LPIA. We're talking about a long enough runway and a decent terminal. Are there people who are from there, who are businessmen, very successful businessmen, bombers, who could enter into a public-private partnership with government and see that as they could get a viable return?
That's one of the things I will be proposing in Parliament. In fact, I intend to make a member statement to that effect. Public-private
partnership. Of course, you realize none of us know what that means.
It's just
because you as a parliamentarian now don't try that action with us.
No,
all we know is Mr. Speaker. That's all we know.
No, it's just a member making a particular statement about their constituency. So it comes up at a certain point in the order of business. You know.
Okay. Member statement. Remember that, Joe, again.
But as I sat down and brainstormed, right? I said, okay, you got the government. Then also you have the option of public-private partnership, or then you have even like selling shares.
Right.
Okay, a public offering. Listen, that would be
a combination.
Or a combination. That would be a public offering would be oversubscribed in 1 week.
See, that's the people in Spanish Wells. They had this was when I was a reporter. Way back then, in ancient times. Spanish Wells had a power station, and it burnt down. And rather than wait for the government, they met in town square, and they decided we had 2,000 people. We're all going to put shares, and we're going to build the St. George's power station, and that's what they did. I think the people in Long Island have that kind of capacity.
I agree with you. In fact, I was once told a story about Bimini, to add to your Spanish Wells story, where this boat, I think it was the Bimini Marco 1 mail boat. They didn't have a mail boat. The people of Bimini got together, got a mail boat. That's a story I heard once. But I very much believe that the people of Long Island, given the amount of millionaires we have, if there's 100 millionaires in Long Island, 50 from Long Island, or got Long Island roots. If there's 100 millionaires in Nassau, that is. 50 from there.
Because you can't run again if that airport some construction,
something got to happen in Long Island. No question about it.
And it can't be 3 months before the election.
No, I am adamant about getting Long Island going.
Yeah.
And like I said to you, man, I have identified the two major issues: that water and that airport.
Yeah.
Those two things, you don't have to starting an
and
island.
by the way, let me tell you where you can catch crap. This is no pun intended. Let me tell you where you can catch crap. You're the chairman of Water and Sewage.
Exactly.
Don't go down to them people in Long Island now. Also, you're the chairman of the water.
Mm-hmm. And you didn't get it
resolved.
This issue resolved.
The funny thing was, I told a board member, a director that today, right? I said, can you imagine now? I'm sitting here as chairman
of the water. Forget the sewage. We ain't worried about that.
Exactly. And we ain't making this happen. I said, listen.
No.
Whatever we have to do.
That's face. That have to be face.
A priority. Because
he's the chairman.
That's right.
And see, even though there might be some logical reason why you can't, that's not Long Island rational.
No.
Use the chairman
that's right.
of the water.
Right.
Okay?
That's right.
You're lucky you ain't the chairman of the airport. Okay?
That's the two major issues that never figure out.
But I tell you, I can tell you one thing.
Is it a hard thing to accomplish? It's pipes.
Ed, let me tell you, they always talk about budgeting and money and the allocation for the money, and given the fact that public financing is where it is
right now, that is a tough
but
thing.
But you want to create, but everything has to be, and I assume you can look at people like the IDB and all these other, you have to look at things about a return on investment.
Yeah.
What does water and an airport do to enhance the public coffers?
Yes.
That's what you have to be looking at. Because if businesses open up, that's VAT money.
That's right. I would say on average right now, if you tabulate all of the taxes coming out of Long Island, you're talking about VAT, road traffic,
property tax,
NIB, etc. I would say Long Island contributes anywhere from 15 to 20 million a year to the public treasury.
Unless you get some pipe.
I can see that doubling, right? Maybe tripling, if Long Island gets water, which spurs investment, and of course that airport.
How much miles of pipe are you talking about? How long is Long Island? I know it's Long Island,
but here's the thing: water is only in a particular area, right? It's in a piece of the central part of Long Island, and then a little piece of Sims. So it isn't. You're talking about some serious piping. You don't think any private investor would say open up a plant? It's not viable for them to put up a water plant and charge for water. That's probably not viable based on the population. It's not one of the RO plant that we have there now. One of them, I think, is owned by a private investor. I mean, a private investor right now. I'm all for public-private partnerships. If it moves things along, bring it on. I mean, if share offerings move things along, man, listen, let's create this up and just issue. Okay? Just issue. CFAL, get involved. Leno, get involved. Whoever got to get involved. Yeah. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I can guarantee you, the members of Long Island would support that. No question about it. No question about it. And I think that if you go from island to island, you will find that many persons who either come from those islands directly or have roots in those islands, they would probably support. But Long Island in particular, listen, Long Islanders love Long Island. See, I can say this because I'm not from Long Island. I went to Long Island because I have my problems with Long Island. You know that. What's your problem? There's no shade. Man, come on. So I went. I went to the what do you call it? The Long Island Regatta, right? I had this view, this thing. All those cabanas we have there, man. No, I'm not talking about no cabana. I'm talking about trees. Oh, okay. We got some trees. Every tree is 5 foot something tall. I got to kneel down to get shade. Fellas tell me, you know him. Said, boy, I can't wait to move to Long Island. I'm sitting there because I'm not from Long Island. I say, be here for about 3-4 days and talk to me then. I don't know if you can feel the same way. But no, people who are from Long Island, they go back to Long Island. I assume that if you had the airport and you had the water, you'd see more people building homes in Long Island.
Have you had a lot of people leaving the island to come to New Providence?
Yeah, because, opportunities. Yeah. Opportunity that aren't available in Long Island, like private sector jobs. Right. There's only so much public service jobs you could possibly have. And even with the hotels, the two major hotels, Stella Maris and Cape Santa Maria, both of them don't have water either, by the way.
What?
They have their own water supply.
They have their own supply, and that's a great expense to them, by the way.
Operational costs are high.
as it stands right now, they're closed because for 2 or 3 months they close. They can't, everything is slow.
Oh, you mean around this time?
Right,
around
this time. Yeah, what happens is, in the case of Stella Maris, for example, they've had to invest in 2 planes. They try to ferry their people in and out.
That's adding to the operational cost.
Right, that's adding to the operational cost. And so not only do you not have an airport, but you don't have airlift.
Well, if you don't have an airport, you got an airlift.
Even with the airport you have there, right? You don't have adequate airlift.
That's right.
So we're hurting, man. Yeah. We're hurting bad in Long Island. As a business person in Long Island, only because I love Long Island, I haven't closed up. I said, man, because some months you just go out of pocket. Just go to the pocket to keep everything floating. You pay your business expenses or whatever the case is.
I haven't been to Long Island since maybe 2002. I mean, is it as developed as some of the other islands?
Remember that back to school, folks? Kelly's Home Center. I know it from the way back days. You see, before 1981, 82. Listen, Adrian Gibson is with us. He is the member of Parliament for Long Island. The last time, by the way, let me just clear this up. And I think it's him because we had a couple of them on who lied to us. Adrian Gibson, Ellsworth Johnson. See, Kendrick, know what I'm talking about. Prior to the election, we asked them they was running. They say no. Now there's MP. There's MP now. I know how to get to be MP without running.
Fortunes change.
Okay, I don't know how you get to be MP without running. But anyway, no problem. Let it slide.
But he was on and he said that he was running.
He didn't say he was running. No,
I think I did when I finally knew.
Yeah, that was another time. Okay,
I
was here one time first.
Well, nothing had materialized at the time. We were all talking about it, Ed. Yeah. Come on, man.
Yeah, I didn't deny anything.
Neither did I.
You didn't say anything.
Well, I didn't say that, but no one asked me.
Until you, no.
No one asked me. You didn't ask me.
Because I knew you didn't want to talk about it.
We talked about it in the road.
After the fact.
Yeah, but
you didn't talk about it on the air.
Yeah, but no one asked me nothing. If you'd asked me something, I would have said something.
I knew you didn't want to talk about it.
Yeah,
because afterwards you said you were glad I didn't.
Yeah, I would have tried little moves. Anyway, so you are now the... What happened, Rox?
I'm just laughing at you.
That's you make that a habit. You are now an MP, but you are also the chairman of the Water and Sewage Corporation, which I think we've stated quite a few times. Yeah, ad nauseum. These things, first of all, the Water and Sewage Corporation, I'm going to say this very candidly and very straightforward. I've had several dealings with the Water and Sewage Corporation over the years, and I will say this. It is probably one of the most professional corporations to deal with. I know several people there. They follow up. They call you. When they're responsive, you got some people there like Cyprian and Clem, and then there's a whole line of people in their customer service side.
They are very responsive.
That seems to be very good on the customer service side. Now, I wonder though if that is because and that you get a lot of. I don't think you get as much heat as the other utility companies. Is that because still the majority of people are not on the water and sewer lines?
I don't know. I mean, we know that there's I think the majority of Bahamians, or at least half, may not be a water and sewage customer.
Right.
It would be beneficial for the corporation to get them on board.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there's a good customer service department there.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that they're training. You probably see that on display as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, do they have? I don't want to put you on the spot with these things. Does the Water and Sewage Corporation have the capacity? Because this is an issue we deal with BEC. Mm-hmm. Does it have the capacity right now, as we speak, to have everyone be on their system and supply a ready supply of water with the right pressure, the right filtration, and all that type of thing?
Mm-hmm. The corporation, from my understanding, you're talking about throughout the archipelago.
Well, no, mostly through Nassau and New Providence.
It certainly has the capacity to carry most of New Providence. There's still some areas that need work and that need means to be put in place.
Yeah.
But certainly most of New Providence the corporation could supply.
Right. For many, many years, of course, we've all known this. There's been a lot of leakage, a lot of pipes that are not functioning. So there was a time when I heard something like I mean, a very high percentage, I think more than 50% of water was just being lost. Mm-hmm. How have you gotten a handle on where that is?
My understanding is that there are moves to mitigate mm-hmm. and to address the issue of leakage. Mm-hmm. There has been some addressing of it already, mm-hmm. and I'm sure that as time passes, those mm-hmm. matters would be taken care of.
Adrian, what is your role? I'm going to sneeze, but I'll wait for a second. What is your role as a as a chairman of a board like that? I mean, obviously the technocrats are in place, mm-hmm. but do you have to really? I mean, it's been 2 months maybe that you've been.
Well, I would say the appointment went back to July 1st, though it was not gazetted until I think late July.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah.
So obviously there's a learning curve to understand. Mm-hmm. But what do you see as your role as chairman, other than I mean, in the real corporate world, mm-hmm. it's a kind of a catch-22 in the sense that you need to let management do their job, mm-hmm. but you've got to have that oversight. So what are you seeing as your role, day-to-day role, or role? I should
say? We have oversight. Management handles day-to-day operation. The GM answers to the board with respect to day-to-day operations of the mm-hmm. corporation, pursuant to the Water and Sewage Corporation Act. Mm-hmm. As chairman, I have oversight of the corporation. Mm-hmm. I also have charge of ensuring that the government's mandate mm-hmm. is pursued and that policies are passed to ensure best practices at the corporation in its charge to get the entire archipelago mm-hmm. Having water.
Right.
Also, though, the board meets to assess any proposals, mm-hmm. Assess to review, in many instances, contracts, mm-hmm. And also to sign off on monies for various undertakings up to a certain threshold.
Okay. So like
other than that,
upgrades and whatnot?
It could be. And other than that, once it gets beyond a certain threshold, mm-hmm. it's referred by the board to the cabinet.
Okay. Mm-hmm. When you hear, one of the things you heard during the election, which is unbelievable that you're still hearing this, is that many people don't have running water. Not that their water is turned off, but they literally don't have running water in their homes. Shouldn't it be outlawed? I mean, if you're going to rent a house to someone, or for that matter, if you're going to have a home, mm-hmm. shouldn't it be literally mandatory mm-hmm. that you have running water?
Isn't it already mandatory?
I don't know. I mean...
if you get an approvals for your home, you have to show that
they cut off the water, obviously, but the amount of water that people would use would be minimal. Water is always supposed to be the cheapest
and it is.
Utility you have. It's relatively cheap. But what's the deal on that?
Well, whenever your home is let's say you build a new house, and they got to give you an occupation. What is it called?
Occupancy certificate.
Occupancy certificate. Mm-hmm. You have to show and demonstrate that you've put in the infrastructure mm-hmm. for water and electricity and so on.
But what about all the places, over the hill, etc.?
Well, many of them are still on well water. There is no legislation that says you must give up your well water supply to go with city water, mm-hmm. right?
But you should at least show that you have a water supply.
Right. But I think we should move to strengthening that act to say, man, listen, the corporation, everybody goes on city water. Because well water, whilst it may serve a purpose on the Family Islands, in New Providence it could be very contaminated, could mm-hmm. be very hazardous, could lead to lots of diseases, and it could even, depending on the pressure of the pump, let's say you have both well water and water from water and sewage, or your well water could easily mix cross-contaminate the city water. Mm-hmm. You see, so
that's a problem.
There are those factors as well. So perhaps it should be made mandatory that everybody hooks up to city water where it's available.
Yeah.
Right?
We don't like to hear that word.
What's that?
Mandatory. I'm drinking a bottle of water here, and I tell you, you guys are younger than I, except I don't know if Kendrick remember this. When I was growing up, there was only city water.
Right.
Okay? Or you go to the pump, which is still city water. Mm-hmm. Okay? There was no bottled water. Mm-hmm. I remember when the first set of bottled water came into this country, it was Aquapure. Mm-hmm. And it was because there was not a reliable source of drinking water in the country, which gave rise to that to that other than now it's just trendy. Is this the government supply of water, the city water supply, a reliable, safe water supply?
I would say so. You would note during the Ingram administration, when all that road work was going on, there was also changing of the water mains. From that, and so out east you'd have many horror stories about rusty, dirty water, and I'm sure that's not the case today.
But if people, you think people, I guess maybe culturally now globally, you've grown over a period of time. No one really wants to drink water out of the tap. I mean, I drink water out of the tap in the States.
British system now. Some people do.
In the States, I don't know if we've gotten to the point in the Bahamas yet where we could drink water out of the tap. And you know, whilst I see people do it in the States, and I just came from Europe, it was done in Italy, all true. But I can tell you, I don't know if I would even trust drinking water out of the tap in the States.
Oh, in the States,
no,
okay.
Without a filter.
Without the filter.
You can't be in charge of water and talking about what you can't do and what you can't do. You better watch yourself. You're trying to protect you now.
Well, listen, I'm gonna be honest. Yeah. I'm gonna be frank. I'm gonna, but I'll tell you, I don't know if I would advise Bahamians to drink the water being produced by water and sewage. I don't think anyone would. I wouldn't say it's drinkable water. It's potable water. I won't say it's drinkable water.
Safe to bathe in and wash and all that stuff.
Wash and all that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll know tomorrow how people feel like that, because you know people listen.
Yes.
Okay. We can know. We can know. He didn't say that.
Well,
he said it's good.
Well, I'll tell you this, Ed.
But you got to tell them what you feel.
The reality is, I don't want anyone to put themselves in a position where, drinking water is provided in terms of you can buy it from a store or wherever. I'm not going to say take portable water and go drink portable water from a tap.
And it's best he not say, because if he says to drink it, then somebody go and get sick.
I got to pay all this, they blame me.
Chairman told me
and if it was in the United States, mass lawsuit.
Let me be your PR person for a second here. What you want to say is that at this point in time, you're not in a position to say the drinkability of the water, but certainly you will come to know that more and more as you carry on your duties, et cetera.
Certainly, Now, how much do I owe you for that?
You owe me nothing, man. You owe me nothing.
Certainly.
Okay.
That's it right there.
Listen, I don't think many people are going. They just don't feel comfortable. No. I think that's it probably is safe, because I know they chlorinate the water and fluorinate the water and do all the eights to the water, okay? But the reality is you don't know how your pipes are. You don't know. There's a whole range of things.
Cross-contamination, the possibility for that.
There's a whole range. And people just culturally have not. I mean, do you know anyone who drinks water? I don't know anyone who drinks water.
Even in the States, people, I know a lot of people just go buy their bottle.
Purchase their water.
Yeah, they go purchase their water.
But I remember the first time we went to Minnesota, they poured water and things say, here.
From the tap? And you say, who are you giving this drink to? No, but don't lie. Did you drink it?
Yeah. I think, it was not no other way to drink.
Don't drink it.
Well, no, but I have to drink some water.
Bye.
But they drink their water. First of all, I watch them drink it first.
The system probably did.
That's what I said. Yeah, he said, right? He watched him drinking first. That's something I do when you're eating barracuda. I let you eat that first and wait on you 2 hours.
Yeah. So anyway, it's you have now, I would say, fully acclimated to your role as not fully acclimated, but how often you go down to Long Island? Is it that must be extremely taxing?
Yes, I go down often.
Financially and emotionally.
One of the positives with respect to being an Out Island MP is I think the government may offset 2 trips. 2 trips, I'm thinking. But obviously...
For the what? 2 trips for what? For what?
Per month.
Oh, per month.
Okay. I was just going to say, hold on, I can't be in the calendar year.
I was going to say, you're gone.
I have...
That's January and December.
I run it for Long Island next time.
But I haven't actually submitted any receipts with respect to my travel to Long Island.
Yeah.
You just putting the bill yourself.
I've just been going home, and
so you have a homestead down there?
Well, I have a building down that I rented out. Okay. I have a business down there.
Oh, okay.
But I stay with my people down. As you can say, their homestead is mine, and I'm about to construct.
So you still have good family structure down there. Yeah.
My family's down there. That's my hometown.
Where are they from? Gibsons.
My grandfather is from, I always say I'm Long Island through and through. My grandfather's from Turnbull, that's in the south.
Yeah.
And my grandmother is from O'Neill, that's in the north.
Yeah, but they're extinct now, as you said.
No, they still living. They're still living, man. And they live now in bunches, you know. When they got married, he was supposed to come down to, you know, stay with us. They took care of her dad, and he ended up staying. So, but the rest of the family's in the south and the rest is in the north. So growing up, I was always able to move between the two and get an appreciation for both sides of Long Island. So I say I'm Long Island through and through. I love both ends.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, how we roll this is this. We'll end with this. We cannot give you graft. We cannot do that, as you know. You know, there's a problem with that. But what we're expecting is that when we have these MPs on, especially from the outer islands, we'll expect what you call a little, what do they call that?
You want a papa or two?
No, what do they call the thing? A little gift, you know, a little thing. Homage.
He wants a couple of papas or
no,
something.
What the mob is called.
A leg of mutton.
When you pay homage, you know.
Bring
some mutton.
Yeah.
Give it to him.
I'll make it happen.
Some mutton.
I'll
and by the way,
if
when
he
you bring
walks
it,
in here and mutton, you gonna take it?
I'll make it happen.
But here's the deal. Here's the proviso. I need it to be cooked. I don't need to
You
know
want
raw
mutton?
Come on,
Okay.
man. Yeah, I thought
People can be sure I want some tart.
So hold on, this MP's supposed to come
You
in
gotta
here with
get
a
on the
pot of
mutton
mutton.
plus
Wherever they
bucket.
come from, if you come from
You're
Lucha,
so tacky.
bring me some tart. Some pineapple
You are
tart.
so tacky.
Anyway, listen, it's a pleasure as
Yes.
usual having you on. And, you know, listen, do well.
Thank you.
You see, the thing is, you know, I'm saying this. There is a clean slate. And when I say that, I mean this is a whole, the whole, and you've given the promises to the people, and these aren't promises that hopefully are outlandish. These are basic needs: water and airport. So at the very minimum, the people of Long Island have to see evidence that you've done every single thing in your power to deliver those things. It's one thing to not, you know, to deliver them, but it's another thing to not deliver them and not be seen as delivering them. They deserve it. These people deserve it. And we want to see our family islands thrive. All right.
And I thank you, man, for having me. Both you and
Rogan.
my good friend Rogues.
Yeah, man.
It's always a
wasn't for you,
pleasure coming in here, man.
Yeah,
Always
that's why you probably didn't bring me on mutton.
Man, don't worry, I can get you straight.
You can bring curry mutton for you next
No, I don't
time.
want to curry steam.
He wants steam mutton.
All right, well, listen, Kendrick, thank you very
so
much.
Kendrick.
Rogan,
Yes, sir.
it's always a pleasure.
Adios.
Okay.